Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I'm going to be conducting a general reading, a timeless one for the collective, so please do take what resonates and leave the rest behind. So right now, at the moment, I've been getting a feeling, a really, like a very eerily quiet feeling. And it's just like being in your own zone, your own space. And it's like the best remedy right now that you need is to be alone. I'm not saying like to cut off from the whole world entirely in full-time isolation, but I feel that this is you needing to take the time out to just kind of like go within. Now, this can be you staying in your house or you being out in nature, but either place, it gives you that moment to yourself of stillness where you can really sit down and really figure things out. So before we actually begin, I was thinking about which oracle card to use, and at the same time, I was really honing in on quiet, and me, myself, and our kind of energy. And as I cut the deck for the Ancient Stones Oracle, this card came up, which is the Cave, and it says retreat, time out, self-care, slow down. And then the top card was ancestral messages, connection, belonging, ask for help. So I do feel that maybe some of you guys are just needing to kind of like tap in, to tap out of this situation, this simulation, the scenario that you're in at the moment, and you're really just reaching for the stars, bursting through the veil, the frequency fence, so that you can get in touch with your people upstairs. It's just that kind of energy. So let's get in with some messages using the tarot. Now remember, this is a general reading. It's timeless, so whatever's going to come out in this reading, it may not actually resonate with you right now. If it doesn't, please don't worry about it. We're not going to just stretch it out to fit you, if it doesn't, okay? Sorry guys, let me just take I got my cardigan on just for a bit of hot. Right. Okay, let's get in. Right, that's better. I can move a little bit more better. You may actually need to offload certain things off of your back so that you can breathe a little bit more better, that you can move around a little bit more better. If you feel that you've got like energetic things, burdens attached to you, then it's like it may be slowing you down, maybe bogging you down. And it's a thing of like, I need to sort of like let go of, lighten the load. I think we just need this come a little bit more. All right, okay, so let me just shuffle, and then I'm just cutting the deck. Right, yeah, this feels like it. I just feel you're just in this like mood of, like I'm staying grounded, I'm staying by myself, but whatever comes my way, I'm just going to see it as a sign if I resonate with it or not, that is. Okay, so I just feel just really reading everything around you right now, even if it's a leaf on the floor, and if it's pointing in east, or west or north, whatever, you're that tapped in, you're just taking everything as a sign, like you're seeing everything around you as a code. So the first card that I've got is the Knight of Wands. It's in the upright position. So I do feel, now this is interesting because obviously it feels as if like this is a moment of like things speeding up, but then it's like you're kind of slowing down as well, because of the Knight of Wands, it can have a moment of being in and out kind of energy, okay? And you may have been doing like too much, doing the most. And I gotta say, it's kind of like to please others for some of you. For all, the rest of you, it's about you trying to really get things in order, get your house in order. The card that I've got next is the Nine of Wands in reverse. So I do feel this is offloading a lot of things, giving up. Coming up from the rat race, it's just becoming a bit too much, needing to kind of slow down and, constantly putting too much effort into things. You know, in the Nine of Wands in the right position will be, you know, going through a lot and just like still keep on going. And even though you're aware of your surroundings, but sometimes I feel that you may have to let go. So I feel that this is a moment of surrender where you can really sit in your stillness for a change. The next card that we've got is the Nine of Swords in reverse. So I just feel that you're in this vibe of like, I just really don't care. You know, I just can't. I just really can't with this situation right now. I'm not going to stress myself. All right, I might be in a situation where, you know, things are not that great. But you know something, I've been through worse because you've got the Nine of Wands in the reverse. You've been through worse. So your spiritual training, your spiritual experiences have you sort of like geared up as this. I am picking up on like this kind of like light warrior energy with this line. So you may have, you know, either a connection to dragons as your protector, as your, you know, you are aligned with them, or you may have, you know, feline qualities like lion, starseed, or, you know, you have a passion and love for cats, you may even own cats yourself. You may have a draw, you know, to ancient Egypt. Interesting. Anybody would have said Egypt, but I said ancient Egypt. Interesting. You may actually have like a past life connection to ancient Egypt, or you've actually been drawn to this era, this time, you know, a specific timeline, and it may be drawing you in where you may need to kind of like get back in touch, because all of what we're going through right now, all of these energies that are really bombarding us at the moment, and we're going through this, you know, this spiritual awakening even more. You're becoming more aware of the past more than you are of this shitty present that you're in at the moment, which, you know, the past more appeals to you more than where you are right now. So I feel you might be doing a little bit of like conscious time travel. You may have even had like dreams or astral project, if you know how to do that. Astral travel back in time. Interesting. The next card that I've got is the Page of Cups. So I do feel, you know, sometimes if you've got like a lot going on and you're trying to think of something really like creative, because the Page of Cups can have that kind of, you know, energy as well. You might need to just really be in a thing of like, I need to offload certain things, because what I want to do and what I want to create and what I feel that I want to bring in, I need to make space for that. And you may have actually been feeling a bit burnt out, okay, which really doesn't do you or anybody else around you any good if they expect you to do things. You need to be expecting to do things for yourself more than anybody else right now, more than others. And I feel you need to give this Page of Cups a chance to come through. And then we've got the Queen of Swords. Yeah, so I do feel that if you are sort of seeing things now a little bit more clearer, then you need to start, you know, really sort of like cutting down, you know, decluttering, downsizing on, it might be physical stuff or, you know, people. You want something really good for yourself, then you're going to have to just make those sacrifices, you know. And if people don't like it, well, you know what they can do. Underneath the bottom of the deck, we have got the Three of Wands in reverse. So yeah, I was getting this feeling of, because upright this would be like either, you know, waiting for things to come in or future, you know, projections or whatever. But because it's in the reverse, I'm getting a feeling of a past. All right, let me just expand on this a little bit more and see what else we get from this. And with the Queen of Swords, where has she sitting as well? You know, she's sitting in her stillness. She knows who she is. So I'm really picking up on somebody who really, you know, you and somebody who don't have time for intimidation. Not that you give it. Some people may be intimidated by your energy, especially if you're, you know, an Aries. How many Aries? I said Aries, right? But Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra, you know, Libras can come off a bit too cold and very cut, straight to the point, you know, no holds barred. and very unfiltered at times. But there's also that tactfulness and diplomacy that goes with that energy as well. But when you're ready to cut shit off, listen, it's got to be done. All right, so let's see what's going on with the Knight of Wands. Let's see. Tell me about the Knight of Wands, please. What is it about this energy? Yeah, I just feel you're not really taking any action. There's a lot going on in your head at the moment. The Eight of Swords in the upright position, but we've got the Two of Wands in the reverse, the Eight of Cups in the upright position with the Three of Cups in the reverse. I feel that you may even be declining invitations from certain people or certain friends, or you're just not in alignment with them anymore. And I feel the thing is, if you are going to be coming out from a situation, you're really going to need to have time to take time out, because if this is cutting somebody out from your life, that you may have known for quite a while, you're just so in your soul calling energy right now. And if this is what your soul is calling you to do, and you know within your heart it needs to be done, it needs to be done. All right? Because when people are ready to do their own thing, you be the last to know. And then when you're ready to do your thing, they want to be the first to know. All right? It's just how ironic life can be. So let's go with the Nine of Wands in the reverse here. I just feel that, you're taking control. You may have had in the past, some form of attachment to certain things, but I feel that whatever you're going through right now and downsizing, you're really stepping into this self-control energy, which is really great, because this is what's needed to kind of give you that strength to let go and move on. Okay, so it could be about a group of people who you may be contemplating on severing ties with. Tell me about the Nine of Swords, because there's definitely some endings, completions as well. The Nine of Swords being in the reverse. What is it that the collective is coming out of? What kind of fears or worries? What is there that is being let go at this time? Let's see. Yeah, you're stepping out of your comfort zone. We've got 3 nines here. 999. It's like your soul, your spirit is making an emergency call, or you're making an emergency call to your spirit guides. I need to be guided out from this, and working together like this. But this feels like you may have needed to take time out in order to kind of just deliver some bad news, some news that may, people may not be happy with, but you're doing what needs to be done. Tell me about the Page of Cups. Tell me about the Page of Cups. Yeah, whatever it is that you may need to be working on, or in terms of creativity, you really need to give this a chance to come through. And again, if things are not working out, you may be trying to bring something in, creatively speaking, and it may not be working out, is because you've got a lot going on. And I feel it's like where you need to really take that time to really just sit down with yourself and decide on what needs to go. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. I'm just going to take this one card at the top because it's just too many other cards at the bottom. So yeah, there's definitely this feeling of, this conflict and everything. You may be, sometimes if you work somewhere, you've got people around you that are sort of being quite competitive, that kind of egotism. And that may not really vibe with you. You're not really a competitive person, not into competition like that. And that, in itself can be very off-putting, and you sort of receding back from that group. The card underneath the bottom of the deck is the Page of Swords in the reverse. I do feel this is about you going within, taking time out, go within and discover who you are and what you want to do. All right, so let's start to close out this reading. So remember, we had the Cave. I'm going to take this card. So this is the Retreat, Time Out, Self-Care, Slow Down. And then we obviously had the Ancestral messages, connection, belonging, and asking for help. So if you have been feeling a bit conflicted as well, with the five of wands, maybe the five of swords as well, but you're, moving away from the swords energy in order to take action. So there's lots of changes that's coming in. All right, and then the next card that we've got that wants to come through, the Temple, the wisdom within, quieting external noise. So you're quietening down the noise, this will drive me mad. Like, if you're just trying to be very, tuned into yourself, and then you may be in a noisy household or noisy workspace, or it's just so much freaking dramas, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, can I just get some time out for myself, please? And this alone will just make me just cut everybody out, just delete. All right, so this is the Temple. So again, you're just sort of like going within yourself and really and truly getting connected to your ancestors, or soul family, however you want to sort of label, even your oversoul. So your family, okay. And the next card that we've got is the Secret Chamber, potency, deep connection, and treasure. And I really feel with the Page of Swords being in the reverse, the more that you go within, deep within yourself, you're going to start to find out certain things about, past connections. I don't know why, okay. But the moment that I sort of said about deep connections and a chamber, it just brought me back to this place, ancient Egypt or Kem. You may have been either some kind of priestess or priest in a past life. If you're in, well, obviously be in on this timeline, but there's something really, I'm picking up indigenous, I'm picking up really, you're definitely more than what people see you to be. But then that's just the shallow-minded people. If they say you're being very, sort of like antisocial or whatever, it's because you're not into that kind of low vibrational 3D nonsense. You came here with somebody who had like a 5D and beyond above consciousness. And that's always been you. Never really, observing the world, but definitely not integrating with it fully so that you could become lost in the source. You're a silent witness and reporting back to source. And then the next card that we've got that wants to speak, I feel is this two? All right, we'll take it. So we have got hidden treasure. Again, this hidden, yeah, you're definitely hiding from certain people. You're on the right track, gift revealed. So whatever it is that you're going to be discovering about yourself, with this secret chamber, potency, deep connection, and treasure. And then we've got hidden treasure. You're on the right track, gift revealed. But I just picked, saw that as gift received. So you may be getting some kind of gift back from somebody from the ancient, era, or that's even you, being your own ancestor, giving you back what's rightfully yours. Returning, spiral journey, growth, renewal, healed. You're going to feel so much more better when you let go of certain things or certain people. You will. If they're mad with you, that's fine. Like, not meaning to sound like, you should be a bitch. But, sorry, sometimes you have to be kind of people so that you can save your sanity. And then the card underneath the bottom of the deck is Stone of Destiny. Life path, ambition, passion, and yes. So this really ties up really interestingly well with regards to what I was picking up. Secrecy, time out, sort of being like living as a hermit, but not really like total spiritual isolation. Sometimes that's needed, but I don't feel that you're doing it on purpose. You're doing it because you're called to. You're following your destiny, you're following your heart, your soul, And also what I was getting very quickly before I close out this reading is that you may also be experiencing, certain light orbs out of the corner of your eye. Just like when you look around, or like you might be looking at something, then you'll see like this little flat. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it very well? And then you might just see like this little, you know, sort of little flash like that just go, and then it just disappears. You're like, what the hell was that? So there, you know, you're being monitored, you're being watched. But this isn't anything to feel, you know, frightened of. Anyway, I don't feel you're somebody who does fear anyway. Definitely not that vibe. I'm against somebody who sits there and cowers, because you wouldn't be, this certainly wouldn't, you know, would be up like this. And the reading would, you know, the energy would just totally be a bit off. You're somebody who don't do fear. Okay? Which is amazing. And, you know, that's a really good quality to have right now. All right, guys, this is what I've got for you. So hopefully you may have resonated with it a little bit, or, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. Okay, take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next reading. All right, take care.